this is gonna blow your mind. Today we're diving into a dish that has captured hearts worldwide, ramen. But we're not talking about those instant noodles you eat in college. We're talking about real ramen, the kind that will make you want to eat more and more. Ramen has become super popular all over the world, and it's easy to see why. It's a tasty and cozy meal that you can make in tons of different ways. From busy streets in Tokyo to fancy ramen restaurants in New York City, everyone loves this Japanese dish. But what makes ramen so special? Whether you're a ramen expert or just curious, get ready to learn how to make this famous dish at home. We'll explore the history of ramen, how it started, and how it became so popular. Get ready to become a ramen chef and impress your friends and family. Forget those little packages of instant noodles. Real ramen takes time and care, and it's full of flavors and textures that will change how you think about this dish. We'll learn how to make it step by step, so even if you're new to cooking, you can do it. You'll learn how to make a tasty broth from scratch, whether you like a strong pork tonkatsu or a lighter chicken shio. We'll also learn how to cook the noodles perfectly, so they're chewy and satisfying. And of course, we can't forget about the toppings. We'll explore lots of options, from classic chashu pork belly to soft-boiled eggs, crispy seaweed, and green onions. Get ready for a culinary adventure that will make your taste buds happy. Before we start cooking, let's go back in time and learn about the history of ramen. People think ramen is from Japan, but it actually came from China a long time ago. Noodles have always been a popular food in China. These early noodles made from wheat flour could be combined with all sorts of flavors and ingredients. Over time, different parts of China created their own special ways of preparing noodles, showing how diverse Chinese food is. The first kind of ramen was a simple noodle soup sold as street food and enjoyed by everyone. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, China and Japan shared a lot of culture. As people traveled and traded, they also shared their food. Chinese people moving to Japan for new opportunities brought their love of noodle soups with them. These early ramen stalls, often found in Japanese Chinatowns, offered a taste of home for Chinese immigrants. Japanese people, who also loved simple and tasty food, quickly started to enjoy these noodle soups too. They saw how they could change and improve them with their own cooking styles. What started as a simple street food, a taste of China in Japan, soon became a famous Japanese dish. Japanese chefs, who are always creative, started trying different broths, toppings, and local ingredients. They transformed ramen into something uniquely Japanese. In the early 1900s, they invented kansui, a special kind of water that changed how ramen noodles tasted and felt. Kansui made the noodles springy and gave them a yellow color, making them different from Chinese noodles. As ramen became more popular, special ramen restaurants called ramen-ya started opening all over Japan, each with its own special recipes. As Japan moved into the 20th century, ramen became a big part of its food culture. It went from a simple dish from China to a uniquely Japanese food. Cities were growing, more people were working, and Japanese chefs were very creative. All of this helped ramen become popular. Ramen was perfect for a busy country because it was easy to change and came in many flavors. Ramen stalls were everywhere, offering a quick, cheap, and filling meal for everyone. After World War II, people loved ramen even more because it was a comforting food during difficult times. Ramen became a symbol of hope and creativity, showing how the Japanese people could make something great even when things were tough. After World War II, ramen became even more important in Japan. As the country was rebuilding and people wanted things to feel normal again, ramen provided a comforting and familiar taste of home. Ingredients were cheap and ramen recipes could be changed easily, making it a good meal for families who didn't have much money. In the 1950s, instant ramen was invented, and it changed how people ate this popular dish. Momofuku Ando, the inventor, created a type of ramen that was easy to store and prepare, making it even more popular in Japanese homes. Instant ramen became a pantry staple, a quick and easy meal for busy families and people on the go. From its humble beginnings as a Chinese import, ramen has become a celebrated and important part of Japanese food culture. It's not just a simple noodle soup anymore, it's an art form. Chefs all over Japan spend their lives trying to perfect their broths, noodles, and toppings. Ramen-ya, those special ramen restaurants, are now popular places to eat, with long lines of people waiting to try their unique creations. Ramen is also everywhere in Japanese pop culture, in movies, TV shows, and comics. It's a symbol of Japanese food, enjoyed by people all around the world. Ramen is so popular because it's versatile, affordable, and delicious, making it a true culinary icon. Now get ready for a food adventure. We're going on a delicious tour of Japan to explore the unique regional styles of ramen that people have loved for generations. Just like the diverse landscapes of Japan, ramen changes from region to region, with each bowl reflecting local flavors and traditions. From the busy streets of Tokyo to the snowy landscapes of Hokkaido and the southern shores of Kyushu, each region has its own special style of ramen, showing the incredible diversity of Japanese cuisine. So, get ready to eat your way through the fascinating world of regional ramen styles. Our first stop is Tokyo, the birthplace of shoyu ramen, probably the most famous and influential style of ramen in Japan. Tokyo-style ramen is all about balance and refinement, a perfect blend of flavors. The broth, usually a clear and flavorful chicken or pork broth, is seasoned with shoyu, a Japanese soy sauce, giving it a rich, savory, and slightly salty taste. The noodles, often thin and slightly curly, are cooked perfectly, giving you a satisfying bite with the rich broth. Toppings for Tokyo-style ramen are usually simple but elegant, often including slices of tender chashu pork belly, marinated soft-boiled eggs, chopped green onions, and a sheet of nori seaweed. The result is a perfect combination of flavors and textures, a testament to the skill of Tokyo's ramen chefs. Next, we travel north to the cold island of Hokkaido, home to Sapporo, a city known for its snow and, you guessed it, its famous miso ramen. Sapporo-style ramen is a hearty and warming bowl, perfect for the cold weather of northern Japan. What makes Sapporo ramen special is its rich and flavorful miso broth, showing the region's history of fermenting soybeans. Miso, a fermented soybean paste, adds a deep savory flavor and a slightly sweet nutty aroma to the broth. The broth is usually cooked with pork bones or chicken, creating a thick and satisfying soup. Unlike the clear broths of Tokyo-style ramen, Sapporo ramen is more rustic and full-bodied. Toppings for Sapporo ramen often include lots of stir-fried vegetables such as bean sprouts, cabbage, and corn, adding a nice crunch and sweetness to the bowl. Our last stop is the southern island of Kyushu, specifically Fukuoka, the home of Hakata-style ramen. Hakata ramen, known for its intensely flavorful and milky white broth, is not for picky eaters. This style of ramen is all about getting the most flavor out of pork bones, creating a unique and unforgettable ramen experience. The broth, called tonkatsu, is simmered for hours, sometimes even days, to get every bit of flavor from the pork bones. The result is a rich, creamy, and almost jelly-like broth that coats the noodles and excites your taste buds. Hakata ramen typically features thin, straight noodles that cook quickly and absorb the flavorful broth perfectly. Okay, ramen lovers, let's start cooking. The most important part of any great ramen is the broth, the base that can make or break your bowl. Don't worry, it's not difficult. Whether you're a great cook or just starting out, making delicious ramen broth at home is easier than you think. We'll start with the basics: bones, vegetables, and seasonings. For a classic pork broth called tonkatsu, pork neck bones are the best. They have lots of collagen and gelatin, which melt when you cook them for a long time, creating a rich and creamy broth. Chicken bones are a good substitute if you prefer a lighter flavor. No matter what you choose, we're going to roast those bones in the oven before simmering them. Roasting makes their flavor stronger and adds a delicious savory taste to your broth. While the bones are roasting, we'll prepare our vegetables: onions, garlic, ginger, and green onions. These aromatic ingredients will add sweetness, depth, and a bit of freshness to your broth. Once our bones are nicely browned, we'll put them in a large pot with our roasted vegetables and cover them with cold water. Now here's the secret to a flavorful broth: patience. We're going to let this mixture simmer slowly for at least 6 hours, or even longer if you have time. While our broth is simmering and making our kitchen smell amazing, let's talk about another important part of perfect ramen: the noodles. Those springy, slurp-worthy noodles are what make ramen special. You can definitely find great quality dried ramen noodles at Asian grocery stores, but if you're feeling adventurous, why not try making your own? It's a fun experience that will make your ramen even better. Traditional ramen noodles are made with just 4 simple ingredients: wheat flour, water, salt, and kansui, a special kind of water that gives ramen noodles their springiness and yellow color. If you can't find kansui, you can use baked baking soda instead. Making ramen noodles takes time and effort. You have to knead, rest, roll, and cut the dough to get the perfect texture. But trust me, it's worth it. There's nothing like eating ramen with noodles you made yourself. Whether you buy your noodles or make your own, cooking them correctly is important for getting that perfect texture. We'll cook the noodles separately from the broth, right before serving, so they don't get soggy. Now for the fun part, the toppings. Imagine your ramen bowl as a blank canvas and the toppings are your paints. This is where you can be creative and personalize your bowl with flavors and textures that you love. Let's start with the classics. Chashu pork belly is a must-have in many ramen bowls, and for good reason. This melt-in-your-mouth pork belly is marinated in a savory sweet sauce and cooked slowly until it's incredibly tender. You can buy pre-made chashu at some Asian markets, or you can easily make your own at home. Next up, the marinated soft-boiled egg. These golden eggs add a creamy richness and a touch of luxury to your ramen. The key is to cook the yolk perfectly so it's still runny. Trust me, it makes a big difference. Of course, no ramen bowl is complete without fresh toppings to balance the richness of the broth. Thinly sliced green onions, crispy bean sprouts, and a sheet of nori seaweed are all great choices. And if you like things spicy, try adding some chili oil, pickled ginger, or even a dollop of spicy miso paste for an extra kick. Okay, ramen chefs, it's time to put it all together. By now, your broth should be bursting with flavor, your noodles cooked perfectly, and your toppings prepped and ready to go. The key to a beautiful and delicious bowl of ramen is layering the flavors and textures. Start by putting a good amount of cooked noodles in each bowl. Then, ladle in that amazing broth, making sure to get some of those flavorful bits from the bottom of the pot. Now, arrange your toppings nicely. Put a few slices of chashu pork belly on one side, a marinated egg on the other, and scatter your green onions, bean sprouts, and nori seaweed around the bowl. If you're using any extra toppings like chili oil or pickled ginger, add them now. And there you have it, a steaming bowl of authentic homemade ramen that any chef would be proud of. The best part? You can customize it however you like, trying different broths, toppings, and flavors until you've created your own special bowl. So grab your chopsticks, call your friends and family, and get ready to enjoy some amazing ramen. So there you have it. We've traveled from the busy streets of ancient China, where noodles were first created, to the heart of Japan, where ramen became a culinary icon. We've explored the history, the cultural importance, and the regional differences that make ramen such a diverse and interesting dish. We've even learned how to create our own bowls of ramen magic at home. But the story of ramen doesn't end there. It's a story that continues every day, in kitchens and ramen shops all over the world. Ramen has become a global phenomenon, showing how food can bring people together from all walks of life. From fancy ramen restaurants creating new and exciting dishes, to simple street stalls serving up comforting bowls of noodles, ramen continues to evolve and inspire. Now that you know all about ramen, it's time to become a ramen master yourself. Don't be afraid to try different ingredients, flavors, and toppings. The best thing about ramen is that you can customize it to your own tastes. So get together with your friends and family, turn on the stove, and start your own ramen adventure. Explore all the different flavors from rich and savory to light and refreshing, and most importantly, have fun with it. Ramen is more than just a meal. It's a celebration of flavor, creativity, and the joy of sharing a delicious bowl of food with the people you love. Until next time, happy slurping.